He was 14 years old at that time, by the way. And was good with the mentality to win, obviously, and I always try to do my best, and I think everything is gonna come along.
But how has camp been so far? How has your approach been in camp?
That he's gonna oppose on me. We gotta wait till fight night to see.
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo Alvarez broke his silence on the Crawford fight. The champion delivered a direct message about what makes Crawford dangerous and why his power and experience will decide the outcome. He's not taking this lightly. Crawford brings speed and volume that will test him differently than most opponents. But first, Canelo sent a message that silenced all the doubters. When asked if people truly understand what he's capable of, his response was ice cold.
No, maybe they know, but if not, I'm gonna remind them September 13. I can do a lot of things in the ring, and I'm gonna put everything there Saturday night. No, you know, I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna be patient, do my job, and win, no matter what way. But I'm gonna win.
Canelo revealed his tactical approach varies by opponent. Against slower fighters, he stays stationary because they can't match his timing. But Crawford changes everything. Canelo admits Crawford's speed and punch output will force him to use more movement and defense than usual.
Because I don't need it with that kind of fighters. They are slower than me. So I don't need to start moving or keep moving if I know I don't need to do something. Why I'm gonna do it? If I need it, I'm gonna do it. So that's why, because they are slower than me. So that's why I can do my thing.
Are you saying lower or slower?
Slower.
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 Okay, slower than you.
Slower. So that's why I think I'm not needed like as avoid punches like that much, right? But when a fighter is fast and throw a lot of punches and everything, so. Well,
Who's Crawford? Where does he fall?
Yeah, I'm gonna need it for sure.
Dana White called this a once-in-a-lifetime matchup. Crawford stays undefeated while moving up to challenge Canelo at his weight. White emphasized what makes great fights, when the best risk everything for legacy, not celebrity spectacle.
A once-in-a-lifetime fight. When you have, a guy like Crawford who's undefeated and is willing to move up in weight and fight somebody like Canelo, this is what it's all about. I mean, two of the all-time best, right? Putting it all on the line. It's every time you put on a fight, what makes people care about it is what's at stake, right? That's why some of this celebrity stuff that happens, I think it's goofy. It's not what I do, but I completely understand that, this celebrity versus this celebrity, and you just want to see the train wreck and see who's going to win. I totally get it. But what I love is when you have two of the absolute best ever that are willing to put it on the line one night to see,
When pressed about Crawford specifically, Canelo's tone shifted. This isn't routine title defense, it's career defining. His preparation centers on discipline and motivation, which he believes creates the right mindset for victory.
He was 14 years old at that time, by the way. And was good, very good, and I'm very grateful with him because he make that time to go and give me a good work.
Was he there to be your sparring partner to get you ready for Crawford? So was he imitating Crawford's style for you, or he was just fighting?
No, he did his thing. He do both guards too.
Crawford fired back at the doubters. He's not concerned about predictions or talk. Saturday night settles everything. The ring will show who's stronger, faster, and ready to win when it matters.
I think people is underestimating everything about me, but that doesn't matter. We got to fight here Saturday, and all the answers will be answered that night.
Crawford reflected on his career timing. Things don't always happen when expected, but he believes they unfold when they're meant to. He's not dwelling on the past. Full focus on delivering everything on fight night.
It ain't on my time, it's on God's time, and the time is now, and I'm here. So I'm not gonna reminisce on the past. I'm living in the present. We here now, and
Stephen A. Smith weighed in on the matchup. Canelo brings strength and experience, but Crawford's speed and boxing IQ could be decisive. While Canelo hunts power shots, Crawford can avoid damage and control rounds through superior boxing.
Love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
And when I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this.
Smith addressed the weight factor. Canelo owns this division. His strength and endurance advantage at super middleweight is real. Crawford has grown, but Canelo's experience at this weight matters. Strategy, movement, and timing become critical for Crawford to outpoint the champion.
He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always
prepared.
He's always ready. He's always prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster.
Crawford addressed power concerns with Shannon Sharpe and Chad Johnson. Questions about handling Canelo's power are meaningless until they fight. Everything gets answered on fight night. He's ready for whatever comes. Analysts discussed fight week pressure.
Always.
You know, everything could be, you know, all the questions will be answered come Saturday. You know, they don't gotta speculate and guess and hope. Oh man, he can't take the punch. How you know I can't take the punch? You know, Canelo ain't never hit me and I said I can't take the punch, or you know. So I just laugh at people that's, you know, praying and hoping that it goes the way they want it to go. You know, so Saturday everything will be shown.
Showbiz. The adult noted Crawford faces more pressure than Canelo to make this fight successful. Crawford's putting in extra training work as mental and physical demands peak.
I've been feeling a lot of pressure on Crawford. You know, Crawford has more pressure to try to make this fight big, right? Because Canelo name itself is going to do whatever, but people need to know who he's fighting, all right? And I see Crawford doing more work than Canelo, and Canelo did, you know, he put himself in a position where he doesn't have to work as much. The lights and everything, I did see that as a bit uncomfortable for Bud, but for me, Bud's a killer. So when a bell strikes, all that going to be behind him, especially once he gets hit. When Crawford gets hit, it's on. It's like what Mike Tyson said, we're always nervous, but the closer you get to the ring, and then when you get in there, you become an animal. I think, you know, all of this stuff is a lot for Crawford, I think, right? This is a big moment, and it's coming up very fast. This is a very fast, we're already on a hump day.
Showbiz broke down Crawford's ring approach. He's not chasing a knockout, focused on winning strategically. Crawford's footwork versus Canelo's boxing creates an interesting tactical battle that will shape the fight's flow.
Now, Bud Crawford ain't going for the knockout. If it comes, it comes. He's trying to win the fight. The knockout, that's Nello, dog. That's Nello. That's Nelo's trying to get to the bag. Let me see. Crawford has better footwork, though. Although Nello is good at cutting off the ring, he has bad knees. What are your thoughts on this, please? I was going to wait to say this, but I think I know what Canelo's going to do. Canelo's going to box him.
Mexican silver medalist Marco Verde picked Canelo to win. Crawford's movement makes a knockout difficult, but Canelo's pressure and skill should allow him to outpoint Crawford for a decision victory.
What do you think about the main event?
Canelo win. Yeah.
You've been practicing your English.
Yes.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Decision or knockout?
Decision. Yeah, I think so. Decision. Knockout, I don't know, because Crawford is going to move around because he has to esquivar, avoid all the punches, and Canelo go for him.
To pressure.
Yeah.
Zab Judah promised action from both aggressive, skilled fighters. While Canelo's the dangerous champion, Crawford's preparation and strategy could give him the edge in an entertaining fight.
I don't see no boring fight in this fight. Because even though Crawford game plan is, or I don't know, I'm just saying, in my mind, Crawford game plan is to start early and come forward. Canelo's not going to stand there and wait for him.
Right,
He's
right,
not
right,
gonna be.
right.
I mean, listen, you know, people hear me speak about this fight, and you hear my pick for this opinion, but don't. I have a lot of love for Canelo. He's a hell of a fighter. He's a hell of a champion. He can end this in 3 seconds if he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Just that, you know, Crawford is prepared for it, and I think that in this fight at this time right now, I just picked Terence Crawford to be the victor.
Michael Bisping analyzed Crawford's weight jump challenge. Crawford's multi-division success is impressive, but super middleweight against Canelo is a massive step up. The weight change could impact everything: power, stamina, and recovery.
Terence Bud Crawford. Crawford, as we know, he's won many different titles in different weight classes. Of course, the first to do that was Tommy Hearns back in the 1980s. Crawford is the 24th boxer in history to do that. His collection of titles include the WBR 135 world title. He's also the 140-pound champion. He's the 147-pound champion, and he's the 154-pound champion as well. He won that against Israel Madrimov. Now for this one, Crawford is making a massive jump. He's jumping up 2 weight classes to 168 pounds super middleweight to take on Canelo Alvarez. That is a massive jump, and that could cost him in the fight. Yes, of course, throughout the training camp, he's going to be able to take up more nutrients. He's going to be able to recover better. Of course, weight cuts.
Bisping focused on Canelo's elite status. This isn't just any opponent. Canelo's a pound-for-pound king and boxing's biggest draw. If Crawford wins, it's historic, but he faces enormous pressure against a naturally bigger, more experienced champion.
This is Canelo Alvarez that we're talking about after all. And let's remember that Canelo Alvarez is kind of the face of boxing, but he's currently the number 3 pound-for-pound fighter. Canelo is only number 8, and of course number 1 is Alexander Usyk.
I feel.
A man that also, let's remember, moved up weight classes. If Crawford wins here, he becomes the first ever 3-weight undisputed boxing champion, but he's up against big competition in Canelo Alvarez. Alvarez is one of, if not the biggest star in boxing. All of the pressure is on Alvarez being the larger fighter, and also, as I said, being considered the face of boxing.
Froch highlighted the size challenge. Canelo's moved through weight classes successfully. While Crawford attempts his biggest jump to super middleweight, this makes getting a result against an established champion extremely difficult.
But looking at Crawford, looking at the size of him, there's not much in it. And Canelo started off actually, didn't he, welterweight in his career, early doors when he was a young lad. And he's been up to light heavyweight, obviously lost to Bivol, and then he's dropped back down to super middleweight and is the undisputed king at super middleweight. Nobody can touch him. So for Crawford to come up to super middleweight and expect to get a result, it's a big ask. It's a tall order, as they say.
Froch analyzed career implications. The outcome affects both legacies significantly. Canelo's established, but Crawford's taking a major risk at this career stage, making the fight potentially decisive for both.
To beat a big Canelo Alvarez, a naturally bigger man. I think he is. He's a consummate professional. I think he's confident after speaking to him. But we don't know, do we? I don't know who this loss, who losing would damage them more. I think it'd be the end of, pretty much the end of Canelo losing to Crawford. It'd be devastating for his legacy. For Terence Crawford, people will just say, look, he's lost, but he's lost to Canelo, who's too big for him. He's not a super middleweight Crawford, so he could kind of afford to lose. But at his age, what is he, 37 years old? He's like tapping on the door for retirement. So this could be career curtains for whoever loses.
Sonny Edward discussed Crawford's skills against Canelo. Only master boxers have beaten Canelo before. Crawford's skill level, movement, and ability to exploit openings make him a legitimate threat despite facing a bigger, more experienced opponent.
It's so hard because the only person we've really seen beat him is the sort of master boxer in both Bivol and Mayweather, and okay, there's a few question mark decisions around there that we don't really need to go into, but it's the boxer that usually beats Canelo. Physically, he's so impressive, but Crawford can box, but he tends not to try and be elusive. He usually meets the fire, and his fire is normally brighter, and it'll be interesting. Like, and remember, a fight's only between two people, even though you're looking at all the weights, etc., and stages of their career, but
Edward compared their physical attributes, similar height and build, but Canelo's used to bigger opponents. Crawford's speed, technique, and timing could provide advantages in exchanges. Small margins will determine pace control and key punches.
Crawford is one of the best fighters we've had for this generation, really. I rate him ridiculously highly, not only his boxing acumen, his wrestling that you can see. He uses every bit of advantage of limb manipulation and finding his weight whilst transferring theirs and finding shots inside that makes him a real threat, a problem to anyone. And if anyone's going to overcome a weight disadvantage, shall I say, it will be someone like Crawford that has got sort of skills that you don't normally see in a boxing ring. But
Edward praised Crawford's consistency and elite boxing ability. While Canelo brings experience and power, Crawford's speed, adaptability, and ring IQ create a serious challenge. This combination makes the fight unpredictable and competitive throughout.
I don't know, I think maybe the size, the height, they're kind of very similar in height, stature, but Canelo's been used to fighting bigger men than him and is still sort of breaking them down and beating them. But at the same time, his rhythm slowed down a hell of a lot than it was 4, 5, 6 years ago. And Crawford probably will have a lot of edges and speed in certain ways, and it's one of those interesting ones. You've got to favour Canelo, I think. But there's just something about Crawford and he's had an exceptional career. He hasn't looked really vulnerable at any stage, I wouldn't say.
Canelo versus Crawford delivers skill, speed, and strategy at the highest level. Both bring experience, discipline, and power, but contrasting styles and preparation will decide the winner. Crawford's speed and tactics against Canelo's power and ring experience. Fight night determines the superior fighter. Who wins this elite matchup? Canelo with his power and experience, or Crawford with his unbeaten record and boxing skills? Share your prediction and reasoning in the comments.